Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. This is ad-free zone. We don't want ads. You don't even need an ad blocker. If you see an ad, it's not because of me. I turn ads off. All I ask in return, please subscribe. I'm trying to get that plaque, put it up on the wall. Okay, 5 essential soft skills for clinical research professionals. The clinical research field is more than just science, okay? The science is very important, but if you're paying attention to what's going on in the industry or in the world, there's this thing called artificial intelligence coming out, and it's very good, extremely good, better than you will ever be at science. And it's still important, of course, to have a working knowledge. Charlie Munger, somebody who I follow, rest in peace, the best investor ever, in his book, Charlie Munger's Poor Charlie's Almanac, he talks about obtaining worldly wisdom. It's essentially what I've been saying on this channel about being a generalist. And part of being a generalist is not just having technical skills and hard skills, but soft skills. And I don't care what your role is in this space. The ones that will have the soft skills are the ones that will be most protected from technological advancements. So, soft skill number 1, communication. Whether you are a CRC or a CRA or a data manager or anything at a site or anything at a CRO or anything at a sponsor or anything at a tech vendor or anything at an IRB or anything anywhere on this planet, you need to know how to communicate with people. A very good book I highly recommend, Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. We're only 2 minutes in and I've recommended 2 books already. Okay, effective communication with all the stakeholders, building rapport and trust, and the impact of this effective communication on the actual research outcomes. If you are at a site, for example, coordinators are the main interface with patients. There is no patient being in a study without a coordinator. I don't think AI is ever going to change that, at least not in the next couple of decades. Coordinators are the ones making sure the patients show up, making sure everything's okay, making sure they're doing their diaries. I think it's pretty evident communication is important. But for the coordinators, they also have to talk to other stakeholders, like their PIs, which usually are their bosses or at least their coworkers. Hey, doctor, we need you to sign off on these labs. Hey, doc, what do you think here? Is this CS, NCS? I need to know. How do we proceed? Hey, doc, this monitor wants to talk to you. I know it's annoying, but we need to have it done. Here's another book for you, Influence by Robert Cialdini. Amazing book. Too bad he went to ASU and I went to U of A. Separate story. Coordinators also talk to CRAs. Your CRA says, hey, we have aging queries. They're getting gray hairs like Dan. You need to answer them. And then you need to talk to the CRA about what issues you're dealing with and how to be proactive about certain things. This is effective communication. Same thing if you are a CRA, vice versa. You have aging queries, your project manager, your CTM is probably on your ass. How else are you going to get through to that coordinator other than effective communication and having influence as a skill and having persuasion as a skill? So those 3 books I mentioned, rewind it if you need to again, you have to have. All right? So that's communication, soft skill number 1. Soft skill number 2, teamwork and collaboration. Working effectively in diverse teams. You cannot do anything on your own. Clinical research is a multi-pronged, multi-stakeholder approach. You have vendors for different things. You have patient ACE, you have an IRB, you have an IRT. We've actually had one of our coordinators, we were having an issue on one of our first screenings with a e-consent. Nobody could help her. But she remembered that the vendor, the person from the vendor, actually came here at the SIV, which is unusual. And so she called the person from the vendor, and that person, not the CRA, not the project manager, not anyone else, was able to get her to fix the issues and come up with a solution. This is effective teamwork and collaboration. If you work at a site, clearly I just discussed the different ways that teamwork and collaboration needs to get done. But if you're at a CRO or a sponsor, same thing. And by the way, I haven't mentioned sponsors yet. You have to deal with sites, CROs, vendors. You, of all people, need teamwork and collaboration. Yes, you outsource things to a CRO, but guess what? If you're not on them about getting things done, they also have other sponsors that are outsourcing to them. You need to treat them as a team and collaborate in order to have successful research outcomes. Essential soft skill number 3, problem solving and critical thinking. This is such an underrated skill. It's not enough to know how to do something. Because like Mike Tyson says, it's one of my favorite quotes, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. It's not enough to have a plan. Things are going to happen every day at the site level. Something happens. Oh, patient doesn't want to do the study anymore. Or another patient, hey, my family member took all my study meds and they don't want me in the study and they threw them away. Or the CRA says, hey, we need medical records. You haven't done this. These are all deviations. Or maybe the sponsor tells the CRO, none of these sites are compliant with the e-diaries. I don't think you guys realized that or anyone caught it. These are all problems. Working in research is nothing but problems. They wouldn't pay people salaries if there were no problems. If there were no problems, they would just need a few people and some machines to keep everything maintained status quo. But because entropy is real, it's a universal law, and because things tend towards disorder and things tend towards chaos without energy being put into the system, research is no different. There are problems constantly. You want to get paid? You take on problems. So you got to learn how to think on your feet, critical thinking, problem solving skills. You have to develop mental models to do this. I highly recommend, again, Poor Charlie's Almanac for developing mental models. And when it comes to mental models, that's enough book recommendations for now. Essential soft skill number 4, organization and time management. This is my weakness. Anyone who has ADHD or has ADHD traits or hyperactivity, this is our Achilles heel. This is my Achilles heel. I'm a great multitasker, but when it comes to being organized and when it comes to time management, I'm awful. It's my strength and my weakness, and that's a soft skill I definitely have to improve. And I think I use technology to help me in those regards. I use this tool called Spark Desktop. That's my email client. It's Spark. It kind of can reply using AI. It can keep me reminded of what I need to do. I think people that are having issues with organization and time management can use technology to their benefit. But you got to do something. You can't just ignore it and stick your head in the sand. You got to create systems that work for you, workflows that work for you. Managing multiple tasks and deadlines efficiently, utilizing effective time management techniques, and staying organized and focused amidst all the demands we have in this space. And finally, soft skill number 5, adaptability and resilience. You must be flexible. If you are rigid and you only know one way to do things, back to Charlie Munger, one of his favorite quotes, to a man with a hammer, everything is a nail. So if all you have in your toolbox is a hammer, you're going to be trying to use this hammer to solve every problem. That's going to cause a nightmare. Same thing in clinical research. If you don't know how to be adaptable, it means you don't have enough tools in your toolbox. And you need to go out and find these tools, learn how to use these tools, And these are things I'm talking about, things like technologies. I'm talking about things like new therapeutic areas, obtaining more worldly wisdom, obtaining more domain expertise from the therapeutic areas. Just that is the way to keep you adaptable. Simple things like patient wants to quit. Well, find out why. What's the root cause of them wanting to quit? Is it something we can fix? Is it something we can help? Is there a misunderstanding? A lot of the times, just because someone says something doesn't mean that's what you're going to need to do. But oftentimes, just because you say you're going to do something a certain way doesn't mean that's the way it's going to end up working out. Learn how to maintain a positive attitude in the face of challenges. Okay, last book recommendation, Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. Super important. Learning how to maintain a positive attitude in the face of challenges. The only thing you can control is your own reaction. And finally, the importance of continuous learning and professional growth, adding more tools in your toolbox. Hopefully this is enough to help you out. It's enough to get you looking in the right directions. This will keep you immune to most downsizings. Like, subscribe, comment, share, Guru Nation. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.